Welcome back to another week of Follow Me Round. And this week starts with a little bit of admin before we head into town. I'm going to Stuck in the Riddle today. I've had a few messages over the weekend about a couple of things that are slightly broken or sticking at work, so I decided to go in and get them sorted just so it doesn't affect any games. The first thing is this little mag lock that goes into our cape escape game. It apparently wasn't holding on to the bar sufficiently so that customers could pull the door open when they weren't meant to. So I go in and have a quick look at it. It is looking a bit loose. It looks like it's been kind of played about with a little bit and kind of come loose. So I stick some longer screws in there just to keep it a bit more solid so it can't move about. But that doesn't quite solve the problem. Then cut away some of the excess wood that's around it just because that's kind of frayed a little bit and it's kind of stopping the door closing fully. And I also just adjust the bar that's in the door, which also helps it kind of latch on properly. To give it a good test, just turn the power on and off. Make sure when I put the power on it does stick sufficiently, which it does. It needs a lot more effort now to open it up, unless people are really trying to force it open, which is hard to get open. So that's one problem sorted. I then go into cabin. I was told there was a problem with this door, which I had a quick look at. I couldn't find the problem with the latch, but I did notice that this bit of wood was catching on the frame, which I've noticed before when I'm running games, just so it can get stuck and you don't quite, it's not as easy to open. So I decided to cut that down just so it's nice and smooth and closes properly. Give everything a clean up with a vacuum cleaner, get everything packed up, and then I head out. The next job then, for most of this week really, is heading up to the house to do a bit more work on the renovation. I feel like I'm getting there with the kitchen. That's nearly done now. I have these cover panels to fit on the ends of the cupboards just to make it look a bit neater. The panels I get from IKEA to finish that off are oversized. I have to cut them down to the right height. There's also a little notch I've got to take out at the back as well where the tiles are, just so you can sit flush against that wall. So as I've cut the panels down and they fit on nicely, screw them in place just through the cupboard, through the inside of the cupboard, and start working on the next one. Kind of a mirror image, both either side of that cooker hood. Cut down the height and cut out that little notch and get that screwed on as well. And now have a little bit of excess wood, which I can use just to fill in the gap at the end of the units, which I started doing the other week but ran out of cover panels. So just hide that little hole there that's underneath the units. And then I have this cover panel at the end of the worktop, which I don't quite know what I'm doing with. Not sure I do a great job with it. So the panels that I've got weren't long enough to cover it in one panel, so I had to get a second one. Cut them in half down the middle and try and join them in the middle, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do now. I think I'm going to put a little cover strip over the top of them, which will be a bit more obvious, but it will look like it's intended to be there rather than trying to hide the gap between the two panels. Then start working on the cupboard doors, make a little jig so I can cut the holes for the handles all in the same place on all the cupboards. And I also stick these hinges on and just fasten them in place inside the cupboards. So that's my little jig there that I'm using just to make sure it's in the same place. Just line it up with the corner each side, and I can drill straight through and get it in the same location. I then get tidied up, give it a quick vacuum and head home. On to Tuesday. As usual, we're heading into the distillery. Didn't do loads of filming this day. Got a bit caught up with doing paperwork and bits like that. Do start by straining out some gin, sticking that in the still, getting that running. Always the kind of first job. Try and be careful there, putting it on. Snapped that before. And I carry on with a bit of paperwork and admin, doing a few bits for my accounts today. And then John is on bottling some gin. That's the gin coming off, we're running. This is another third party gin that we're bottling with someone. John's filling that, it's a bit of an arty shot, make us look professional. And I'm heading back home. So Wednesday starts again with a bit of admin. I've got some bits to drop off at Stuck in the Riddle. I've got this tool bag that I'm taking in there. make a quick stop into the distillery. I have this order that I need to pack up and send out. I'm also doing a little bit of stock taking just on my bulk spirits, and I have a bit more of this rosemary that I need to add into our batch for next week. Just getting a box down for the delivery that I need to pack up and get that sorted. And I quickly get everything in and head off. Then nip into Stuck in the Riddle, drop off some water and some other bits that I need. Me head there, I didn't film that. I was trying to take this parcel back, drop it off at the post office, back home, a bit more admin. We're on to Thursday. I want to have a solid day now at the house, doing a load of jobs, really trying to catch up with where I should be on this project. Start by sticking these little dots into the cupboards just to make them not bash against the cabinets when you close the doors. I need to empty out this Unix today. I'm putting the drawers into here. So it's a little bit fiddly getting these together. I've not done these before. We start by building the drawers, and you've got to put these brackets into the cabinet just so you can slot the drawer in. Then made another jig for putting the handles into here as well, just so they're all spaced properly. And I move on to the two smaller drawers that go above it. It's going to take quite a while to do this. Again, it was a bit of a fiddly job. It's nice to finally get somewhere with the kitchen and getting it nearer completion. Get rid of all my rubbish, stick that outside. And I put the shelves into the cupboards. So you've got to put these little pins in place and put the shelves in place. And I decide to trim down the floorboards just to give a real neat edge into the utility room, and I bought this metal trim then that's going to hide that kind of bit of mess there. So I cut that down and put that in place. And if you stick that down, you can get some adhesive there, or figure out a way if I'm going to keep that in place. Another one there going down into the cellar, so I put it on the other top of those stairs as well. I then move into the bathroom. So the decorator that we had that caused me loads of problems, he cut a massive hole to put the wire through for this light switch, so that then I couldn't just screw the light switch in place once we'd finished it. So I now had to refill that hole. So I got one of the bits of plasterboard from the hole saw that you used to cut it out, and I put a little bit of framing above it just so I can stick that in place and then fill it. We also decided to go round and all the plug sockets, which had gaps above it and below it and around it, decided to fill those in too, just so you don't see as many gaps.
Which games is it you want him to play?
I believe it's Alan at 4:30 and then Edith at 6:30 if you've got availability.
One of my days to be doing the phone, so I'm getting phone calls throughout the day as well, trying to sort out bookings, last minute games, stuff like that. Just slow it down a little bit. And I go upstairs and finish off these floorboards, which are taken up when we're trying to find some wires, so I screwed those back down. Also there's a hole through in that small bedroom where the pipes used to come out, so I filled that in as well. Then we're done for the day. Quite a tiring day today. The waste that I'd got from IKEA as well didn't fit the sink that I'd got from B&Q. So IKEA didn't have the sink that I needed when I wanted to order the rest of it, so I got that from B&Q thinking the other waste would fit it. But it didn't, so I had to nip down to B&Q, get one of those correct sized wastes as well, just so I could put that in. Back home, this is me ordering a load of stuff from Screwfix to be ready for the next day. So we're into Friday. I start off by my son wanting a 3D printed fidget. So I try and print that overnight, which goes horribly wrong. It's me wasting a bit of money there. And I reprint it for him using these correct supports, changing the file a little bit, and it works well. My bucket of plumbing things, which I'm going to take over to the renovation house today. I'm going to head down to the distillery and put a few bits into the little storage container I have down there and get some paint as well that I need to paint at the house. I have a problem with my car again with the handbrake, which I had a few weeks ago, so I nip down there, try and get that resolved. and also heading to Morrison's because it's Valentine's Day the next day. Get a present in a card for my wife. Got this delivery to drop off, which I packed up yesterday. So go and take that over to Slough it. And I head down and get some wood from the timber specialist for some cupboard doors that I need to replace at the house. Then we get into the house. Don't have loads of time left for today. Go around sanding down all this filler that I put in the previous day. Put a bit more because it's quite deep in the bathroom. Kind of cracks when it dries. So I sand that down and fill it in again a bit more. Give it a nice clean up from where I've created a bit of dust. And I'm just taping up the edges so that when I start painting round I don't cause myself more of a mess and waste a bit more time.
Hello.
Hi there, Alec Michael from Michael's Steel & Co. Surveyors.
Yeah, how you doing? You okay? Yeah, no, well, I'll drop you an email now and take it from there. Yeah, okay, that's great. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Caller with an estate agent there, so we're just looking at a property possibly to buy in Honley. So just getting a few more details for that. And I'm still on with painting, getting all that sorted. I have this hatch going into the loft as well, which I want to give a new lick of paint so I can stick it back up and it looks a bit newer and cleaner. And that's about it for the week. So it's going to be a quiet week next week, so I might only have a really short one, but if you did like it, please like and subscribe, and you may see what I get up to next week.